So, to all my listeners that are watching, thank you so much for being here. And you are in for a treat tonight, a real treat, because I'm so happy and so touched, really am actually, to have a new guest on my show today. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. So, Andrew Genovese Lionheart, he's a New Earth visionary. He's a breathwork teacher and facilitator. And he's an Asea Redox Molecules ambassador, same as myself. But Andrew really has been a true beacon of light and truth, and a voice that has been seen and heard by many. I have been seeing Andrew's work for, quite a long while on Instagram. All Andrew's links will be below because his Instagram page is absolutely fantastic. And Andrew, you know, I'm so proud of what I've seen you do by standing on the front line during the times of the lockdowns, and your passion, your real passion for inner sovereignty, soul reclamation shows through all your work. And I was lucky enough to meet you briefly in Dallas at the Asea convention, and I instantly resonated with you because you really are what is quite rare actually in today's world, a real walking example of someone that really does walk the talk, practice what they preach, and is on this journey to make the world a better place for all creatures, great and small. So thank you so much for joining us today. It's such a pleasure.
Thanks for having me, Catherine. And yeah, I'm just excited to dive in and may the conversation go wherever it's meant to and be received by who it's meant to. And yeah, I mean, we're in such a pivotal time, and we know in our planet's evolution, and being just like, you know, everything being revealed to us, everything that's been hidden for, you know, many eons of time is all being, the curtain is being, you know, put to the side, if you will, and we can't ignore the amount of truth, you know, that's coming, that's being presented right in front of us to be able to alchemize and unite, come together, and provide amazing solutions for us to reclaim our planet's sovereignty. You know, something that's been deeply distorted on every single level, from our food to our waters, to the way we live, to the way we eat, the way we communicate, our books, our language. I mean, that's a rabbit hole that's infinite. And so the antidote is to show up with more embodiment, more love, more inner reclamation, stronger health, more light streaming through every cell of our body, more understanding of who we are and how we function on this planet and in the universe. And so I'm always very deeply honored and humbled to be able to share, you know, my knowledge and my wisdom of, you know, my work in the last 3.5 years. And once again, may this conversation be received by whoever it's meant to.
I love it. I love it. So obviously we're on YouTube, so we know to be careful with our words, but I'd like to just take you back to the last 3.5 years, because you really have put so much of yourself out there and really been helping people understand the challenges that are facing them, but also very importantly, always being solution-based in that approach. Can you talk us through that journey you've been on personally over the last few years, and, you know, where you feel you are now?
Ooh, so many places I could go. So in August of 2019, I started to receive messages that I needed to do a soul venture to India, to South India. And so crazy universal synchronicities happened to plug me up with this man who's a yogi who lived in a cave for 11 years naked in the mountains of South India, in Tamil Nadu. And just by the craziest coincidence, the universe made this happen and connected me to this man. And so this, from December 2019 to March 2020, mid-March, I arrived back into the United States days before the lockdowns happened. And essentially I went through like a really big initiation as just like a leader, and a lot of activations of who I was. Before that time, I didn't really truly know. And so, yeah, I was like in pretty much like in isolation for like 3 months by myself and Guruji in the mountains in a tiny little like tribal village, like far, far, far away from civilization. Where I was living for 3 months, there wasn't even like a place to get a tea or a coffee. I mean, it was like very desolate. And so, yeah, I studied breathwork and yogic philosophy, and I just spent 3 months, 4 to 10 hours a day, 6 to 10 hours a day, in meditation, chanting mantras, just connecting to the land, connecting to the self, undoing years and years and lifetimes of programming. And it was it was quite an intense journey. It was very challenging at times. I just had so many parts of myself that were just being like stripped away. And at the same time, I was spending every other day with Guruji, and he was just blowing my mind of what was about to happen on the planet starting in March 2020. He was telling me like the ins and outs of like how everything was being formed, from what was happening, from the money, where it all started with the jab. Just, I mean, like stuff that was just like completely rocking me. Really hard to describe in words what I went through during that time, but it was a profound journey. That's all I can say. And I actually had one visitor during the time, and it was a friend from London who he was British, and I met him in Cambodia in 2014, and he came to visit me for like 4 days of my journey, and that was really, really nice. That was kind of just like a nice little, I don't even know, just like a small chance window to kind of like get out of what I was doing, but I was still doing all the practices with him. I was like, hey brother, I just want to let you know, if you come to visit me, we're going to be like deep in the work. And he was like, cool, I can do that for 4 days. And then he left, and then I was just like straight back in it. So yeah, it was just so many things were being awakened within me, spending that much time alone.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, we're so busy every single day, just nonstop tasks, emails, answering calls. Anytime we're bored, we're snacking, we're just constantly filling ourselves with things to not be with ourselves. So when I gifted that time of 89 days in solitude, it was just, yeah, incredibly profound. And it changed my life forever. And so, yeah, that led me to arriving back to the United States in March 2020. And when I got back, it was like kind of this like push to just get up to the podium and start to speak about what I knew, with just what was happening on the planet, things that I knew that were taking place throughout the universe. And yeah, and I just started speaking, you know, and yeah,
How
just
was that received from people that had known you before you went to India?
so I started creating videos about a year before I went to India. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to make videos. I wasn't good at it. But I just started making videos about health and, um, small videos about awareness and consciousness. And then after I got back from India, I was just an unrecognizable person. I was not the same person at all. People who I knew in my past life just kind of shed away. I mean, I evolved just to an entirely different person in while I was in India. So yeah, a lot of people I knew in my past life from university, and they just disappeared. And that was like the real beginning of this immense shedding of all the people I knew in my previous life. So yeah, I just started just speaking, and through that, people started just finding my work and my videos, and yeah, my following just started growing very rapidly. And then I got linked up with one of my, dearest friends, Alex Zek. Some people on your show might know him. He's one of my favorite men on the planet and one of the most legendary humans on the planet. And so I got linked up with Alec, and yeah, that's where I got in contact with Health Freedom for Humanity. And I started speaking on stages about our planet's ascension, our planet's evolution, and what the jab was doing to people's DNA. And so I started just speaking about different realms of health sovereignty and where our planet was going. And yeah, as I continued to make content, my just following just continued to grow, because people recognized my bravery and my courage and my authenticity, and people just, felt that, authenticity and integrity is felt. Truth is
It's
felt.
absolutely felt. Yeah, you can't fake it. You really can't fake it. No.
Exactly.
So
If you're full of baloney, people feel it. People who are intuitive and have discernment can feel
yeah,
it, right?
absolutely.
So yeah, people felt that within me, and yeah, it was just continued to grow over the last 3.5 years, and I've been very blessed to, work with thousands of people through breath work and guiding them through, helping them awaken, working through trauma, helping them find deeper solutions for health. So helping them with reclaiming their inner sovereignty, and just teaching them about all kinds of things that can connect them back to themselves, that the earth, realizing them that they are just an infinite soul that has chose to be in this body during this time to learn, to expand, to grow, for a far deeper reason than we can really even fathom at this moment. And then that led me to last year to discovering Redox and really having it change my life forever. And so that's really brought me to right now, and just totally shifting. I don't want to say shifting missions, but it's the same. I'm on the same mission, but my work has gone through a lot of, holding space for people,
Yeah.
for with different plant medicines and breath work, and it's really shifted back into health and helping people reclaim their health through, through redox and biohacking and including other things as well, to reclaim their inner sovereignty. Because the truth is in this current moment, we still have billions of people who are extremely ill, lethargic, sick, miserable, not connected to their power, not connected to service, not connected to their truth, and not excited about why they're here. And so I have found extraordinary service in sharing Redox with the world. With the things I've witnessed, it's blown me away over and over and over again. Miracle after miracle after miracle. We'll call it a miracle, but it's not actually a miracle. It's really just undoing from the programming that the human body is capable of miraculous things when we give it the right healing conditions.
I love that. And I love the fact that it's so intrinsically linked, that you're, as you say, it's just a slight redirection onto the next stage of your evolution. Because taking it back to your breath work, it's something I'm really, really fascinated in, because I had sort of an arrogance about me. I used to think, it's so ridiculous as a species that we need nutritionists, we need breath work, because these are so fundamental to our being. But of course, we now know there's been deliberate plans to really move us away from these self-healing, self-regulating devices that we all had access to, and actually that most of nature doesn't need to be retaught unless they're living in a human environment. So before we move on to the redox, I really want to understand a little bit more about, for people that have heard, the breathwork thing being bandied about but haven't really experienced it themselves, how fundamental is it, in your opinion, to reconnecting and re-energizing and really to getting us back in control of our own destiny?
First thing that's coming to me is asking the question, what is your breath? Like what is breath? Your breath is literally what takes you from A to B. It's what takes you from A to Z. From the moment we step foot on this earth, we take our first breath, soul comes into the body. And then at some point, we travel through life, breathing all throughout the day, every day. We never stop breathing. We stop breathing. We are leaving our physical body. And then one day we take our last breath. Soul leaves the body. And there are billions of people who never, ever throughout the day, for years, maybe even their entire life, just stop, get out of their head, come into their heart, come into their body, and just go. even 2 deep breaths to just check in and just see what is present for me in this now moment. What is present? Do I feel anger? Do I feel shame? Do I feel rage? Do I feel anxiety? And so when we cultivate this practice of breath, it's bringing more awareness into every aspect of our life, how we move, how we interact with someone, how we communicate, how we deal with triggers, how we deal with our emotions. So the breath it's like a continuation of coming back home to your body, to presence, to the now moment. And our power as human beings to create is always going to be present in the now moment. And that's actually all there is right now. It's all happening right now. And in the grand scheme of the universe, right, we live in parallel realities, and actually everything is happening right now. There actually is no future or past. That's even deeper concept that some people, it's hard to even grasp at this point in our planet's evolution with the consciousness that we have available to us right now. But to be able to be present throughout the day and just stop and just, how am I feeling right now? How do I feel in my body? And then when we are feeling anger or rage, this is not a bad thing. It's not a thing to be ashamed of. This is a part of the human experience and why we come here. So through awareness, through acknowledging that we feel irritated or angry, we can sit with that and allow it to be felt and loved and accepted and released. And then we continue to write for whatever we're doing, for work or whatever. Without awareness is everything. It's the center point of our human evolution, right? Without awareness of what's going on in the world, you're just existing. That's it. You're just existing. You're going to work. You're putting garbage in your body. You're drinking water that's got 20, 30, 40 different chemicals in it. You're not aware of how you speak to your children. You're not aware of how you speak to your spouse. So yeah, the breath is a profound tool to check into the now moment. It's a profound tool to tap into our central nervous system just through taking 10 breaths. Just take 10 breaths. You'll notice you shift immediately, literally within 35 seconds. You will feel dramatically more grounded, centered, calm, connected to yourself, out of your head, into your body, into your heart. It's an incredibly powerful tool that so many of us don't use. And then there's a whole nother layer when we actually spend a duration of time, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour. In my dimensional breathwork journeys, they're an hour long. Throughout the last 3.5 years, I've been holding them for people all over the world. And I've gotten invited to speak and hold space in like very large events. And there's been hundreds of people on the other side of the Zoom, and even a couple times thousands. And that effect of hundreds of people or a couple thousand people, the effect that has on the planet, of that many people simultaneously, it's like we're like pulsating Mother Earth, like the getting in this like synchronistic rhythm, just like all connecting to our heart space. That cannot be underestimated. I mean, going back to the studies that we have in Baltimore, Maryland, or Washington, D.C., in London, of bringing in like thousands of meditators, of what that does to the crime rates and what that does to like the stabbings and the shootings and all and things, just gang violence goes down dramatically that week that the meditators come in. Why? Because we're all connected through a web of consciousness. So when you have one person more that starts to connect to their breath, connect to their body, connect to their heart, right? That is being felt by all of creation, because everything is connected, not just on this planet, but obviously throughout the universe. We are connected to all plant life, all trees, all animals. When there is suffering on the planet, it's all of our suffering. It's not separate from one another.
Absolutely.
It's all the same. So tapping into our breath is an extremely powerful tool to discover deeper parts of who we are, know more of ourselves, know how we interact with the world, know how we interact with other people, know how we see the world. And if we're seeing the world through the lens of our wounded 5-year-old little girl that was constantly physically abused and was abandoned for years, then you're going to be seeing the world as a 58-year-old man, but you're going to be seeing the world as a wounded 5-year-old boy. And so we have a world full of deeply wounded children that are projecting that out.
Absolutely.
Right?
And a lot of those in leadership positions. I did a lovely interview with Yvette Rose, who wrote Metaphysical Anatomy, and she covered this so beautifully and eloquently in terms of the fact of these skills, just like breath work. If more people really took those on board, we can shift things instantaneously. I mean, your passion for animals the same as mine. And when I'm working, because I specialize in working with animals and they're humans, and just the power of changing your breath and seeing the effect that that has on the animals. You know, anyone who's got a horse that you ride, when you manage to control your breath, you can control your whole energy field, and the animal picks up on that straight away. And what I love, Andrew, about, you know, the combination of skills that you've got, well, one of the many things I love about the combination of skills you've got, is everything is about when we get that control back over our health, our physical, emotional, spiritual health ourselves through the breath work, through the redox and the other things that you use, then we're not controllable in the same way. And our energy is stronger going, as you say, pulsing out there into the universe.
Yeah. Yeah. Without question. Without question. It also, this entire revolution is an inner revolution.
Mm.
We will not bring in this new existence. Yes, for sure. You know, that's not to say that the people who are out there, you know, picketing and marching on the streets right now for Palestine, they're playing their role without question. But it is through removing suffering, it's through removing unworthiness, it's through removing lack, frequencies that will never be enough, will never be abundant, will never be financially free. There's nothing out there for me that's special. I don't know how to be of service. I don't know how to help people. I want to help people. I want to know my power. I want to be able to touch people's lives. We need a whole world operating on that vibration of service and deep love to make this planet a more whole, loving place. As all of us embody that frequency, we will reclaim this planet. Because once again, the consciousness that's streaming through us is connected to every human on the planet, which is why, right, Catherine, I root for you. I root for you to become financially abundant, so excited with life, a zest for life. And as you do that, you plant those seeds for other people to do the same, right? So here's the torch, take it, run with it.
100%.
Spread it as far as you can.
Yeah. And, you know, as we said at the convention, you know, imagine if we've got the energy, all of the people that have that embodiment, that have got the money, that have got the power, that have got the wealth, that have got the health. Yeah. So I want to just pivot a little bit and your story, which I absolutely love, tell us about how did you come across Redox, and if you're happy to share the story of your dog as well.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's see, January 2022, I embarked on a journey to Guatemala, and then Egypt, and then Peru, and it was a 3-month journey, and yeah, it was Guatemala, Egypt, back to this part of the world to Peru. It was not an ideal journey in terms of travel time, but yeah, that's what we did. So when I was in Peru, we were traveling all throughout the Andes Mountains, doing just beautiful work and connecting with the land. And yeah, I mean, that land is just so powerful and so activating. It was really, really special time. And so we were traveling throughout the Sacred Valley, just a very amazing place, and having so many incredible days. And yeah, it was quite challenging. The back half of the journey, we had we had found out that our cat had died with our friend, and it was very devastating. And we were deeply sad and grieving. And then only a week later, we found out 7 days later, we found out our dog had terminal brain cancer from our vet. And we were just like, oh my God, this is just, we were devastated.
Yeah.
And and a lot of people can't understand this connection to the animal kingdom, but when you really understand this connection to the animal kingdom, you love your animal like you would like love a son, or like your daughter, or your sister.
100%. And I think all my listeners are completely on board with that.
Yeah, you just have such a profound connection with them beyond their body, like in like their soul. You connect with their soul, and this specific soul has come into your life for a divine reason, to connect you back to the love of animals and back to yourself and deeper understanding of how you function. And it's just such a profound connection. And so, yeah, it was very challenging. And so when we found out our dog had terminal brain, start to the C, and every day for the next 10 days, I just prayed. I prayed and prayed and prayed. God, give me something that is going to help my dog. Give me something that is going to reconcile what she has going on. And 10 days later, there it was. Got a message from a sister who reached out to me and said, "Hey, Andrew, there's it's not new, but there's this new technology or product called Asea redoxmolecules, and I really feel like you should know about it, and I feel it's going to resonate deeply with you." And she was like, "It's the only product in the world that comes native to the human body, and it'll work for any human or animal on the planet as long as they're alive, have cells, and have a beating heart." And I was like, "I'm listening. Tell me more." I was like, "I'm super interested." I felt it immediately. It's kind of one of those things when you just know. And I'm very intuitive, and I feel deeply. And so I just knew to listen, to pay attention. And I just felt that it was not just some other thing,
Yeah.
I didn't know what that meant at the time, but I was just like, listen. So yeah, we dropped into a 20-minute call, and she explained to me a little bit more about it. And all the bells and whistles in my body were going off. All like light was streaming through my body. I was having like full yawns. So all kinds of things were like happening internally. And I actually didn't connect during that conversation until I believe the next day, that I was like, oh my God, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. This is what I was praying for every single day. The universe responded with Asea Redox. And we were at the very end of our trip in Peru. And so shortly after, maybe a week and a half after, we ordered some back to the United States to be there when we arrived back, and we started giving it to our dog. She was a total mess. She completely fell apart when we were gone. She could barely even like stand. She needed like a wall to just like eat her food while she was like propped up. Otherwise she would just like fall over. She was just like peeing and pooping all over herself. She was just a mess, completely falling apart. I mean, it wasn't even the same dog. It was just like, my heart was just like shattering every single day to just watch our beloved animal. And anytime I just like felt into the grief, like it was just so overwhelming, I just couldn't. So I just had to just continue to just like trust in God and just surrender to the divine, that there was a plan. And every single day we gave our dog Lou, let's see, we were giving her 30 milliliters in the morning with her food. Ideally, a dog or an animal is not supposed to be taking in their food. The most ideal would be syringe, or like in a glass bowl, or in like a whatever ceramic bowl, but that's how she would take it. So that's how we did it. Mm-hmm. So she was taking in her food 30 milliliters in the morning, 30 milliliters at night. And mind you, this dog is 5 pounds. She's itty bitty.
5 pounds.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. She's a little Chihuahua pug,
oh,
cutest little being you've ever seen. Just ridiculously cute, to the point where entire families everywhere we go, like a family of like 8 or 9, will stop and be like, "Oh my God, look at that dog!" Like she's that special.
yeah.
Like from not just her appearance, but just like this just bad alpha female that is just so certain of herself and so confident and just so special. And yeah. And so yeah, 3.5, 4 months down the road, we started to watch this little dog come back to life, and we started to watch the lights come back on in this dog, and we just started noticing like some more agility, more spunk, just a way more mobile function. Before, she was like walking like completely like sideways, and she started to like straighten out. We started noticing like her head being like way more sharp, moving like this rather than like just like, like bouncing up and down. And it was just amazing. It was just blowing me away every day. Really couldn't believe it. And so after I saw what it was doing to my dog, I was just like, wow, like the world needs to know that this exists. People need to know that this is an option, and their animals or family members don't have to suffer, and that suffering is only an option if they choose that. If they decide to stay in victim consciousness and believe that something this good doesn't exist, that's up to them. But yeah, I saw just the most amazing things. And with the size of my audience and the size of my following, I was like, oh my God, I mean, I would be deeply out of integrity to not share this, and to not people know that this exists. And that's kind of how it happened for me, and that's kind of how it happens for everyone, really. You find Redox, and it's just so groundbreaking and just astonishing what it's doing for people and animals, that we have a duty, we have like a sacred responsibility to be of service, and to help people reclaim their inner sovereignty and to not suffer. So that's what I really felt when I saw what happened to my dog. And for the record, and for the video, we are not making any medical claims
Yeah.
in this and sharing this. And so yeah, it was just absolutely incredible what I witnessed. And then I had to kind of let a lot of parts of myself die, a lot of identities die, to like fully step into this mission with Redox, which really began to unfold when I did a 7-day rites of passage journey in the mountains alone, and I drank a bottle of Redox per day, and I just like complete shift, and just everything, my entire life shifted after that. Wow, it was just so powerful. It was so powerful. And so I needed to let quite a few things die, and that was, moving from April of 2022 moving into October of 2022. And then still I was working through a lot of more energetic blocks and things preventing me from like fully stepping into Redox. But yeah, in February 2023 of this year, I like fully stepped into the Asea mission, the Redox mission. And yeah, I mean, my goal is to let tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people know that this exists, because it's a quantum timeline jumper. It literally allows people to quantum jump in their existence. And people think like, really? Come on, a product? Is it just a product? And that's exactly the point. It's far from just a product. It's the only product in the world that comes native to the human body. So when we consume Redox, the body knows exactly what to do with it, because we are Redox beings. We are Redox. We are made of Redox, and no life would exist without Redox. Everything I'm looking at right now, the grass, the trees, the moss, none of it would exist without Redox. None of it could exist. And no life on Earth would exist without Redox. So you put something in the body that has that universal frequency, the body knows it, knows exactly what to do with it. It just ignites this cascading effect in the body to do healing that's just really beyond science, beyond the mind's comprehension. And now what we're finding with Redox and Asea and what it's doing within the genes, my God, it's mind blowing.
The latest science is unbelievable. Andrew, there's so much what I love about what you share, because this is you know, the beauty of when we start with our animals, and the fact that all our bodies have got this innate ability to come back to balance, to come back to vitality, if we give it the right tools. And the beauty working with animals, which is always my favorite thing to work with, I must say, is because, you know, there's no placebo there, you know. And I've had, even though, for disclaimer, we're not meant to add it to the feed, I've had 3 other people that have with their animals and had magic results. And I work with something, Andrew, called zoopharmacognosis, which is animal self-medicating, because everything in nature has innate ability to know what it needs to bring itself back in balance. But because we as humans, and often most of our animals, are removed from nature, we have to then bring the nature to us and them, rather than us getting out in it. And that your experience is just so powerful, because you are so right. It's so much deeper than just a product. And I've had people say to me, well, you know, oh yeah, you're just pushing something. But if I was a mechanic, I've got cousins that are mechanics, and if they came to my house and saw that my brakes were failing, they wouldn't let me get in the car. They'd have a duty of care to say, look, Catherine, there's something wrong with your brakes. Don't get in the car. It's not safe. Now, if I chose to get in and drive anyway and ignore that, then that's on me. But they would be completely negligent if they didn't tell me that they'd noticed a problem. Yes. And this is what I think we've been so brainwashed, Andrew. I'd love your opinion on this. Is part of the brainwashing, the mind control that we've all been through, to think that we and our animals and our plants and the environment are not self-healing beings. And there's so much toxicity, both in terms of physical toxicity, emotional toxicity, vibrational toxicity. But when we give our bodies that extra help, it's amazing what can be achieved. And a whole new world wakens up, because I think there's generations that don't know how good they can feel and what they're really capable of.
Exactly right, Catherine. And the programming runs so deep, you know, so deep. I mean, I have so many people reach out about Redox, and the amount of people that someone say, hey, my mom is being told by a doctor that she has, you know, stage 3 breast, you know, can it help that? It's like, yes, and yes. If it involves a cell, it will help it. It's impossible for it to not help it. That's how powerful we have in our hands here. So people's own victim consciousness tells them there's not something this good out there that exists. And so their inner child is like, I'm not worthy of that. And they don't move forward, and they don't get it. And I lose attachment to whatever is meant to be. You know, I understand that some people are just so deep in their victim consciousness that they don't want something like this. And that's not in their conscious mind. That's in the underlayers of the iceberg. That's in the unconscious, them believing or emanating that they're not worthy of it. But the truth is, when someone says, I'm already healthy, Andrew, do I need this? Excuse me? Why would you put a cap on your health? You're an infinite being. You are infinite consciousness. There's no cap to health. So it's even to say that as a program, to think that we don't need something that can dramatically elevate every aspect of our being, when Redox is not just physical, mental, emotional, psychological, spiritual, quantum, and multidimensional. Because once again, our DNA is the most sacred thing in the universe. There's nothing more sacred than our DNA. Our DNA holds millions and millions of hours of information, wisdom, knowledge. It's a vast library of every lifetime we've ever had, and beyond that. And so our DNA is so important. And to have Redox that travels directly into that, to awaken that, getting into the gene expressions, into the NRF2 gene pathway, which is connected to all these other gene pathways. To be able to have this, once you know about it and you are like, I don't need that, you got to get out of here and you got to come into your body and recognize what you have in front of you. What this is doing for people and our planet and the amount of light and awakening it's bringing onto the planet is having a giant ripple effect. And we're just getting started. Like, we're just getting started with how many hundreds of millions of people are going to know about redox. And that's not just for us, but that's for animals too, right? Like,
That's the thing.
if there's
Animals and
suffering on the planet, it's our suffering. It's all our suffering.
And we have such a duty of care for our animals because, you know, certainly everyone who I know is listening to this, we do the best we can with the knowledge we've got. But I think there's not one single person that will be watching this today that doesn't realize that the knowledge that we've been given and handed to us has been very distorted. And that's what I love about what the last few years have given us, is a whole new wave of people are asking questions that we never thought to ask before, and it's just beautiful to see, and this ripple effect. And this is why, you know, when our lovely mutual friend Danielle introduced me to you in Dallas, I think this is the things, it's the connections, just like the redox gets the cellular connection working as it's meant to be. You know, all disease, whether we're talking about physical disease or the mindset of the planet, the vibration of the planet, when we get those connections re-established in a healthy way, then everything starts moving in a completely different way. And you've only got to look at the people that resonate with this and attract to us. I mean, aren't they just the most amazing group of people, Andrew?
Yeah. The people who are being attracted to the redox mission and Asea are, it really showcases how special Asea is and what redox is, you know, and like the vibration and caliber of humans that are just being drawn into this frequency to be a part of this mission. And it's a global mission. It's a global reclamation, you know, to reclaim our health. That and obviously one of the main reasons, you know, these dark forces controlled us was through our vessel, through our water, through our food, through our bodies. If they control your health in your body and make you suffer all the time, then they control your entire consciousness. You are literally just being siphoned, you know, into the matrix. So it is of the essence that we reclaim our inner sovereignty and use all the tools, and especially when we get introduced to something like Asea, recognizing that what you have in front of you is a massive conduit to help you reclaim your inner power and your inner kingdom and your inner sovereignty. And we're all worthy of doing this. We all deserve to be extremely abundant and free and truly zestful and excited about what we do and what we offer to the world. And so allow our health to be the staple, the centerpiece of all of that, moves through us, all consciousness that transpires through us. None of that can happen without having good health. It's impossible for us to be in our power without health. It doesn't happen. It will never happen. And so it's through being a clear channel to receive information, knowing, new embodiment, that all that can start to unravel.
It's just beautiful. The work you do is absolutely amazing. I'm conscious of the time because I know you have a lot on your plate. I think it's such a testament. I just want to say to everyone, you know, Andrew and I met in Dallas, but we're not even on the same Asea team, and it doesn't matter because we've both got this absolute passion for helping every being, great and small. And I love the work you do. So I found you on your Instagram, which is absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, all Andrew's links will below. But tell us a little bit about how people can connect and work with you, Andrew.
Yeah, you can send me a DM through @breathofthewild on Instagram. And you can also send me an email, you know, every once in a while. Like once a year, I open up for one-on-one clients. I don't do that very often. I just don't really have the space that much anymore. But occasionally, if you catch me at the right time, I will do it. And if someone really, really is feeling called to work with me, then I'll open it up. But yeah, like once or twice a year now, I'm holding dimensional breathwork sessions. But yeah, the primary mission is getting redox into as many thousands of families all over the world as possible because of the amount of light and knowing and awakening it's bringing to the planet. And so I feel just deeply honored and so humbled to be a part of this global family and mission. And I know the way that I'm sharing Asea is very unique to anyone else out there. And so I am being recognized for that constantly. I just, again, I feel very honored and humbled to be able to share something that's changed my life in like a way that I can't even really describe in the English language. The moment I started drinking Redox, my entire inner world shifted. Everything changed. Everything started to change. And we call Redox like the king of coincidences. When you start drinking this stuff, you just, yeah. Hey, my tennis elbow went away for 20 years. Hey, do you think it's the Redox? Hey, my eyesight improved. Do you think it's the Redox? Hey, my gut issues went away of 25 years. Hey, do you think it's yes, 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 and yes.
Absolutely.
It does everything. Because once again, if it involves a cell, you ignite this brilliance within the body. It just starts to put everything else online. And Redox is very spiritual, very quantum, and very multidimensional. So things start to awaken within us when we start to drink it. So it's no coincidence that my entire life started to shift, from my dog to just everything in my inner world started to change. And I'm just like, the gratitude I have is really can't describe. So I'm just honored to inspire, the people who are going to watch this and ignite the flame within you to be like, wow, I fell off the map and it's time to get back on. Let's go.
Yeah, I just absolutely love it. And I think, for everyone that's watching this, just like whatever you're going through in your life, whether it's for you, a loved one of two-legged or four-legged or winged or scaled, just like Andrew did, what I love so much is you needed help and you asked for help and you received it and you opened your heart up to really taking that and running with it, and look how it's transformed your life. What an amazing story. Thank you so much for your time, Andrew. All Andrew's links will be below. Please do connect in with him. You are an absolute inspiration and will continue to be so. And I hope this is not the last time we've connected. Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks for having me on, Catherine.
It's been lovely. Thanks. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And if you feel inspired, please do share with your friends and family. My goal is to inspire as many people as I can to live their best lives, to stay curious and to raise their consciousness and that of the collective. So to do this, I need to reach as many people as possible, and this needs your help. If you feel drawn, would you be willing to share your favourite episode with 5 different people? This helps us spread the word and also helps me encourage some exciting new guests to take part in this podcast. If you feel drawn to do that, I will be very, very grateful. All the links and discount codes where applicable for all the products that I support are on my 2 websites, catherineedwards.life and catherineedwardsacademy.com. All of the products are personally tried and tested by me, my family, and my clients. And finally, please do press the follow or subscribe button, depending which platform you're listening on. And above all, stay curious and stay free.